What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Real Recognize Real, and it only gets realer from here. Now, in today's topic, we're going to be discussing what's your midheaven sign, and I'm going to break it down for y'all. But first, I want to give a shout out to all my fellow Pisceans out there. Gang, you already know we in the building. Also want to give a shout out to all my 2-2s and my 3-3s and my 2-2-2s and my 3-3-3s and my 7-7-7s, and shout out to any other angelical numerical numbers that I may have forgot to mention. I also want to thank everybody for coming out to support the channel. Thank you, and those of you that are new, welcome to the channel. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and don't forget to click that bell notification, be notified of my upcoming videos and content. And we're gonna jump right in. What's your midheaven? So this video was a question of one of my subscribers, so I just chose to do the video on it. Now, one thing for certain is many of you have a midheaven sign, and why does it control your success? I'm gonna break it down for y'all, okay? So most people don't even know their midheaven, which is very important. So this placement reveals your public image, your career, your destiny, your reputation, and how the world sees you. So this is the sign at the top of your birth chart, your legacy energy. Now, in this video, I'm gonna break it down for y'all. So I would be breaking down all 12 zodiac signs and how each midheaven dominates differently, okay? Now, one thing for certain, ask yourself 3 questions. Are you built for fame, power, or influence? So drop that midheaven below in the comments. Now, we're going to talk about this further. Now, one of the things is that let's not forget your midheaven. It exposes your legacy. Now, when you have an Aries midheaven, okay, we're going to start with Aries. What this means is that your public image is the leader. Your career vibe is the entrepreneur, the athlete, and the boss energy. Now, the good side of this is that you could be someone that is fearless, someone who takes initiative, someone who inspires movement. Now, the shadow side of having a placement such as the Aries midheaven is the fact that you could be impulsive when it comes to decisions. You could be more prone to conflict, and also you may be the type of person that burn bridges faster. Now, an example of this is, let's say you're the CEO, or hey, let's say you're the CEO and then you launch something first, and then all of a sudden you fix the mistakes later on, like you basically put it off on the back burner. Now, when you have a Taurus midheaven, okay, your public image is considered the builder. And see here, your career vibe is finance, beauty, luxury, and real estate. Now, the good side of this is that you may be someone who is reliable. You may be someone who is patient. You may be someone that is focused on wealth. Now, the shadow side of having a Taurus midheaven is the fact that you may be someone who's stubborn, resistant to change, comfort over growth. So an example of this would be, let's say, the person who builds slow wealth and makes a living, or the person who builds the slow wealth but actually keeps it. That would be you. So that's something to keep in mind when you have the Taurus midheaven. Now, we're going to talk about the Gemini midheaven. So here, your public image is considered the communicator. So your career vibe includes media, podcasting, and marketing. And the good side of having this placement is that you could be someone who's adaptable, someone who's charismatic, someone that is a fast thinker. So your shadow side of this placement would be, you could be someone who's scattered, inconsistent, talks more than executes. So an example of this placement would be, let's say you are a viral content creator with multiple channels. See, that would be someone that has a Gemini midheaven. Now, let's say you have a Cancer midheaven. Your public image will be considered the protector. See, your career vibes will be or include therapy, hospitality, and family business. And the good side of this is that you could be someone who's nurturing, with leadership, someone who's emotionally intelligent, and someone who's loyal. And the shadow side of having a Cancer midheaven is that you could be someone who is overly sensitive, takes criticism personally, or someone who is mood driven when it comes to making decisions. Now, an example would be, let's say you're the cool boss, okay? But oftentimes everyone comes to you for advice. So this is the placement of the Cancer midheaven. Now, when it comes to the Leo midheaven, the public image here is considered the star. So the career vibes here with the Leo midheaven is entertainment, influence, and leadership. Now, the good side to this placement is that you could be someone who's magnetic, someone who's confident, someone who commands attention. Now, the shadow side of having a Leo midheaven is that you could be someone who's ego-driven, someone who needs validation, someone who's traumatic with when it comes to conflicts. An example of this midheaven, Leo midheaven, is that you could be the influencer who thrives on spotlight. Okay. Now, the next one we're going to talk about is the Virgo midheaven. And when it comes to the Virgo midheaven, if you have this placement, the public image is considered the perfectionist. Now, the career vibe here is analytics, health, editing, and strategy. So the good side of having a Virgo midheaven is that you could be someone who is detail oriented, someone who's highly skilled, someone who is organized. And the shadow side of having a Virgo midheaven is that you could be someone who's overcritical, someone who is anxiety driven, and someone who's a workaholic. But an example here for anyone that has this placement Virgo midheaven, you could be someone that pays more attention to behind the scenes. You may be a genius at being behind the scenes, fixing everybody's mistakes. Now, the next placement we're going to talk about is if someone has a Libra midheaven. Now, if you have a Libra midheaven, the public image here is the diplomat. And see, the career vibes here are law, design, and partnerships. And the good side of having a Libra midheaven is that you could be someone who is charming. You could be someone who is considered balanced. You could be someone who is socially intelligent. And the shadow side of having a Libra midheaven is that you could be someone who's indecisive, someone who's people pleasing, and someone who avoids conflict. Now, example of this placement would be the fact that you could be the mediator who keeps peace publicly. Now, the next placement we're going to talk about is Scorpio midheaven. If you know anyone that has this placement, the public image here is the strategist, the strategist. So the career vibes here are psychology, investigation, and power roles. Okay, so the good side of having a Scorpio midheaven is that you could be someone who has a powerful presence. You could be someone who's strategic. You could be someone who's fearless in crisis. Another thing when it comes to the shadow side of having a Scorpio midheaven is that you could be someone who can come off intimidating to others. You could also be someone who's secretive. You could also be someone that struggles with power struggles. And an example of having this placement would look like you could be the person who controls rooms quietly. Now, if you have a Sagittarius midheaven, for those of you that have Sagittarius midheaven, the public image here is the visionary. And see, the career vibes for having a Sagittarius midheaven is that it's related to travel, teaching, and philosophy. The good side of having a Sagittarius midheaven is that you could be someone who's considered optimistic. You could also be someone who is an expansive thinker. You could be someone who inspires growth upon others. And the shadow side of having a Sagittarius midheaven is that you could also be someone who's blunt, restless, and may struggle with commitment or have issues in regards to commitment. Now, example of someone who has this placement is that you could be someone who is considered the motivational speaker who can't sit still. See, now when it comes to someone who has the Capricorn midheaven, the public image here is the authority. And the career vibes here are the executive, government, and business. And see, the good side of having a Capricorn midheaven is that you could be someone who's considered disciplined. You can also be someone who's well respected. You could also be a long-term planner. And see, the shadow side of having a Capricorn midheaven is that you could also be someone who holds a cold image. You could also be someone that will rather work over relationships. And also you could be control focused. Now, an example of having a Capricorn midheaven is that you could be someone who's considered the empire builder who sacrifices everything for status. Now, next, we're going to talk about the Aquarius midheaven. And if you are someone who has this placement, the public image here is the rebel. And see, the career vibes here are tech, innovation, and social change. The good side of having Aquarius midheaven is that you could be someone who's considered unique. You could also be someone who is considered the visionary. You could also be someone who's considered independent. And see, the shadow side of having Aquarius midheaven is that you could be someone who's detached. You could also be someone who's unpredictable. You could also be someone who is anti-authority. You could also be someone who is anti-authority when it comes to conflicts. And the example of someone who may have this placement is that they could be considered someone who is the disruptor who changes industries. Now, next, we're going to talk about the Pisces midheaven. And if you are someone that has this placement, the public image here is the mystic. And see, the career vibes here are art, spirituality, healing, and film. And see, the good side of having a Pisces midheaven is that you could be someone who's creative. You could also be someone who's considered intuitive. You could also be someone who's emotionally magnetic towards situations and others. Now, when it comes to the shadow side of having a Pisces midheaven, you could also be prone to escapism. You could also be confusing when it comes to public image. And also, you could also struggle with boundaries. Now, when it comes to an example of someone that has this placement, the Pisces midheaven, they could also be considered the artist who feels misunderstood but influential. Okay. Now, another thing is when it comes to the ranking. Okay. And I'm also going to go live with this information right after this video. So smash the like button. And what I'm going to discuss here is the most powerful midheavens. Okay. So understand when it comes to authority and influence, it will also allow the person to have the public control. So when you attach all three, this makes a powerful placement. So the Capricorn midheaven ranks gold, okay, because here we're talking about the building blocks and the structure of the building blocks for the legacy and status. Okay, so that's the building block. So that lets you know whoever has a Capricorn midheaven, that's considered one of the most powerful midheavens to have. Now, Scorpio midheaven ranks silver, okay, because when it comes to the Scorpio midheaven, it allows this individual to control power quietly. And so in itself, that also ties in with the authority plus the influence and plus the public control. Now, Leo midheaven ranks bronze, okay? And why? Because this particular person who carries or has this placement commands attention naturally without force. So that's the top three. The top three rank from from the gold, silver, and bronze. Okay. So another reason why Capricorn is number one when it comes to the midheaven is because reputation plus discipline equals what? Unstoppable climate. So it's like when it comes to the goat climbing the mountain, in other words, it just allows that person who carries that placement to have an unstoppable climb. So it's like they won't just be focused on what they want to accomplish, they will be locked in. Now, I'm going to continue the rest of the information that ties in with this video. Smash that like button, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace out.